Well, and he's going to show you his best side. Okay. Maybe I can prevent that. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So we are live and we are running behind because we were doing Lunasa research. Because here we are. Lunasa was yesterday. And, oh, what did you hear? What did you hear? Okay. Let's do the housekeeping so that we can do the live stream so that I can go print my research. And he's gone. At least you got to see his blue eyes though. All right. Let's see. What is the housekeeping? Me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact email info@creativelife.org. That gets you one email a week. Tells you what's going on for the week and the month. And the hot links are hot. Click here now means it. It is also a blind CC, so nobody will see your email. You won't end up on anybody else's email list because of us. And then let's mention the social medias, mainly from the standpoint of we don't monetize them. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So we ask you instead to go like, subscribe, follow, based on which platform you're on, and engage with the individual post by reacting, commenting, and sharing. Pardon me. They're a little dry, and when they're dry, they're tight. And when they're tight, they're distracting. So, Hidden Power of the Bible. Now, this used to be called The Bible in Light of Religious Science. Frankly, I think this title is a little bit better, although I do love the original title. And I point out that this is a small book. Ernest only picked so much because he could only get the Bible is an entire library of books. So what he did was he picked out what he thought were the most relevant. He focused a little bit on Moses, the lawgiver. He did the creation stories, but he's focused mostly on the teachings of Jesus because he thinks that's what's relevant for us today. The master teacher. We are currently in, I believe, I don't know why I was about to say Micah, Matthew 11. And we are about to deal with the Father and the Son. Now, you know me, I do tend to gender neutral these things. I can't gender neutral this one. Because it just, like I can say the spirit and the child, I can say the parent, the child. But most likely, if I were to gender neutral it, I would say the parent, the spirit and the child. However, this is one of those controversial ones, so let's go with it and see what Ernest has to say, and then you'll get my opinion, because, that's what I'm doing here, right? I'm reading you a book and telling you what I think. So the real Father and Son. And no man knoweth the Son but the Father. Neither knoweth any man the Father save the Son. And he whomsoever the Son will reveal him. Yeah. This is why I'm... What did Jesus just say? What reasonable explanation can we find to this passage unless we look for some hidden meaning behind these words of the great teacher? And, to be fair, Jesus was known to teach in parables. He rarely came right out and said what he meant, although he, again, did often say what he meant. When he said, love one another as I have loved you, he meant that. There's no hidden meaning behind that. So, all right? But part of the reason why he teaches in parables is because when you work out the answer for yourself, you remember the answer better. So, that's why. All right. So, God alone knows the real Son, forever hidden in the bosom of the Father. To God, this idea of sonship must be pure, complete, and perfect, divine, holy, and indestructible. With our present limited vision, we neither see nor know the real Son, but the Father within knows and understands. Okay? So, if I were going to say this, we neither see nor know the real Christ within. We neither know nor see the real essence of ourselves within. But God knows. God knows who we are completely, all the way down. We may not, because we are currently in the material form limited, right? Neither knoweth any person the Father save the Son, and he to whomsoever the Son will reveal him. Okay, again, what? God is revealed through the Son, and the Son reveals himself to other sons when he realizes that God is in his life. All right, this implies a direct relationship between God and humanity. So God is revealed through the Son, and the Son reveals itself to other sons. So God is revealed through the person, and the person reveals themselves to other people when they realize, and that's Son with a capital S, okay? So we're talking Christ, your Christ nature. The spiritual side of you. The spiritual side reveals yourself to other people when they realize that God is their life. Not in, God is their life. Okay? This implies a direct relationship between God and humanity. If one would know God, they must penetrate deeply into their own nature, for here alone can they find God. And that's there's an old saying, and I've told it many times. When God was talking to the angels about creating humanity, God said, "Okay, well, where do I put their spirit?" And the angels said, "Well, let's put it on the highest mountain." And God said, "You know what? They'll eventually get to the highest mountain." And then the angel said, "Well, let's put it in the deepest of the ocean." And God said, "Yeah, I'm going to make them clever. They're going to get there." And then the angel said, "Well, let's put it in the furthest out reaches of space." And God said, "Again, I'm going to make them clever. They're going to get there." And then God said, "You know what? I know. I will put it deep within them. They'll never look there." So think about that for a minute. The one place that we are guaranteed to find God is when we turn within. And yet we're busy looking for God out here. All the time. All the time. All right? Whew. If they would reveal God to their fellow people, they must do so by living a godlike life. That the divine essence flows through them to others. The only way to know God is to be like God. And while this may seem discouraging in our present state of evolution, and I will remind you this was written 100 years ago, so, we haven't gotten very far. Maybe not 100 years ago, but you know what I mean. We should remember that we have but started on an eternal ladder which is ever spiraling upward. And that is one of the things that Ernest held on to. Ernest didn't necessarily believe in reincarnations because he didn't believe that it was necessary for us to come back here. He does believe that we continue on, we just keep moving up the ladder. So, it's not that he doesn't believe in reincarnation, he just doesn't think we come back here. When Jesus said to come unto him and find rest, did he mean that we should or could come unto his personality? Of course not. Jesus knew that his human personality would soon be dissolved in his divine individuality. He knew that he was soon to leave this world and go on to a deeper realization of life, truth, and beauty. It is evident then that he was referring to his understanding of life when he told all who are weary to come unto him and find rest. Had he not already explained that God indwells every soul? He was inviting people to penetrate more deeply into their own natures, if they would find peace and comfort. This has ever been the lesson taught by the illumined, and this has been the reason for their illumination. Here is the lesson. We find God only within ourselves, and God can work for us only by working through us. God reveals itself directly through the Son, the child, you and me. The Son and that Son with a capital S, remember? The Son reveals God when they realize that God is already within them. You reveal God when you realize that God is already within you. This understanding would not produce undue conceit, nor would it set a person in the temple of God as God. Okay? But it would place a true estimate of value on the life of humanity. So, if you want to know God, go within. If you want to teach God, then live a godlike life. Then live a peaceful life. Live a divine life. Live a life of peace and joy and harmony. Live the qualities of God. That is how you reveal God to other people. It's not, I find, said the minister, that the most effective way to teach people about God is to be authentically myself. All of the words in the world are never going to be as effective as a kind, compassionate, loving expression of you. That is the God that I believe in. That is the God that I try to express every day. Do I do it 100%? Of course not. I am a spiritual being having a human experience. But when I trip up, I get myself up, I pick myself up, I dust myself off, and I try again. And, I could quote Yoda here, do or do not. So, when I make a mistake, I make amends and I do again. So, it's never about trying. It really is about doing and finding what works. So, the real Father and the Son. Okay? So, as no person knoweth the Christ, but the divine, neither knoweth any person the divine, save the Christ, and they to whomsoever the Christ will reveal to them. Turn within, get to know the God within you, express that God, and watch your world change. They must do so by living a God-like life, that the divine essence flowing through them to others. Woo! Not a small ask on the part of Jesus, but it is one that we are capable of when we know who we are. And who are we? Beloved expressions of the divine. So, I need to wrap this up because I need to eat something before I get out of here. I also need to go argue with my printer. So I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day. A you got this day. A go be with your community day. A do what you got to do day. A drink plenty of water day. A be aware of the heat day. Stay out of direct sunlight between 10 and 6. Yeah, because the heat warnings are generally running until 7 o'clock tonight. Or for the last week, between 1 and 7. So maybe stay out of the direct sunlight between 1 and 7. A cuddle your fur babies day, a do what you got to do day, and maybe take a nap day, a tell somebody you love them day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a let's prep up for next week day, you got this day, good day. And if that is too much pressure, because occasionally it is, I get it, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You're a beloved expression of the divine. You're a brilliant light, divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, an absolutely beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time at your own pace. Okay? Comparison is the thief of joy. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call it, you are a godling. So explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. It's all the divine knows. right? So that's the good news. All right. Oh, and there was something else I was about to say, and it's gone. So that was the good news. It's all the divine knows. Anything, and from there, anything is possible. Oh, there it is. All right, beloveds. As I said, moving into the process of my day, Reverend David will be on around in after 5 this afternoon. I'll be back with you in the morning in that 9 o'clock, the 9:15 space. But we are going to have an amazing service for you. We're starting a new series, The Soul Code. So either scroll up one video if you're in the area, come see us, or join us on Facebook Live at 11. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hop over to the Creative Life Spiritual Center YouTube channel and see what we were talking about that day. All right, beloveds, take care of yourself. Know that you are loved.